At 77, I never thought I'd find myself in a nursing home. I had always envisioned growing old surrounded by loved ones, living independently, and enjoying my later years in peace. But life has a way of teaching us lessons when we least expect them. What I thought would be a temporary stay for recovery turned into 2 months that completely reshaped my perspective on life, aging, and the true meaning of happiness. In today's video, I want to share with you the profound lessons I learned during my time in a nursing home, lessons that many never get the chance to experience until it's too late. These are lessons about loneliness, the value of family, the importance of health over wealth, and so much more. If you're young, middle-aged, or even older, this story might resonate with you, because one thing I've learned is that life is not measured by the years you have left, but by how you spend the years you still have. So, stick with me to discover these life-changing insights that could transform how you approach your own journey through aging. Before we dive in, if you find this story meaningful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll get more stories and insights that can truly make a difference in your life, just like today's. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Loneliness is the greatest disease. When you think of a nursing home, you might imagine a place where elderly people receive medical care, food, and shelter. But what I quickly learned is that the hardest part of aging isn't the physical struggle, it's the emotional toll of loneliness. During my 2 months in the nursing home, I met people who had been there for years. Some had family who visited regularly, while others had been forgotten, their family members too busy with their own lives. I met a woman who would sit by the window every day, staring out at the world, waiting for a visit from her children, who rarely came. She smiled as she spoke, but her eyes told a different story. It wasn't just that she was alone, it was the deep ache of longing for something she couldn't have, the warmth and connection of family. One day, a man in his late 80s shared his story with me. He had spent his entire life building a successful business, making money, and securing his future. But in the end, he realized something. He had neglected to build relationships. He had everything he worked for, but no one to share it with. The wealth he had accumulated meant nothing in that quiet room with no one to talk to. That's when I understood something I had never thought about before. The hardest part of growing old is realizing that the world has moved on without you. Loneliness is a heavy burden to carry, and no amount of money or comfort can replace the simple joy of human connection. If I could go back, I would have spent less time chasing success and more time building meaningful relationships. Because in the end, when everything else is gone, the only thing that remains is the love we gave and the love we received. So, I encourage you to cherish your relationships now, while you still can, because you never know when it might be too late. Lesson 2. Health is more valuable than wealth. When I entered the nursing home, I met a man who, on the surface, seemed to have it all. He had built a successful career, owned several properties, and traveled the world. He had the wealth many of us dream of. Yet, as I spoke to him, I realized something that deeply impacted me. His wealth meant nothing to him anymore. He could no longer walk without assistance. He couldn't eat on his own. He spent his days in a wheelchair, unable to enjoy the life he had worked so hard to build. Despite all his money, none of it could buy him back the ability to enjoy his favorite activities or even perform basic tasks without help. He said to me, "I spent my whole life chasing money, thinking it would give me freedom. But what is freedom if you don't have the strength to enjoy it?" That conversation stuck with me. I had always known the importance of financial stability, but I never truly understood until then that without health, nothing else matters. The man's story reminded me of how easy it is to take our bodies for granted. We spend so much time working, accumulating wealth, and building a future, but we often forget to take care of ourselves in the process. I saw it repeated in others around me, people who had worked hard all their lives, but now, in their later years, were paying the price for neglecting their health. They would give anything for just one more year of good health to enjoy their savings and experience life to the fullest. If I could go back, I would take better care of my body. I would exercise more, eat healthier, and stress less. It's easy to think we have time to prioritize health later, but the truth is, we don't always get that luxury. In the end, no amount of money can replace the ability to walk, to breathe easily, or to live without pain. The lesson I learned here is simple. Health is truly wealth. Take care of your body now, while you still can, because without it, all the money and success in the world won't matter. Lesson 3. Material things lose their meaning. There was a time when I believed that success in life was measured by what I owned. The house, the car, the clothes, the things that made my life look prosperous. I spent years working hard, acquiring possessions, and thinking that they would bring me happiness. But when I moved into the nursing home, I realized something that shifted my entire perspective. Material things lose their meaning in the face of aging. In the nursing home, I met a man who once owned a mansion. He had lived in luxury, surrounded by beautiful things. But now, as he sat in a small room with just a few belongings, a bed, a chair, some framed photos, he had no interest in any of it. When I asked him if he missed his old home, he shook his head and said, "I spent my whole life filling my house with things, but in the end, I realized the only things that mattered were the moments I spent with the people I loved." His words stayed with me. I thought about my own life and the countless hours I spent chasing material success, acquiring more and more things. I had believed that they would bring me happiness, that having the right possessions would somehow make me feel fulfilled. But in that small room, I realized the truth. No one at the nursing home cared about the things they once had. The only things that mattered were the memories they carried with them, the moments of love, joy, and connection they shared with others. When we are younger, we often think that our happiness is tied to the things we accumulate, the latest gadgets, the biggest house, the newest car. But as we grow older, we start to understand that what we leave behind is not the stuff we collected, but the relationships we nurtured and the experiences we had. If I could go back, I would have spent less time acquiring material possessions and more time creating memories that would last a lifetime. I would have spent more time with family, building relationships, and investing in moments that truly mattered. Because in the end, no one remembers what you owned. They remember how you made them feel and the love you gave. Material things are fleeting, but love, memories, and the connections we make with others are what truly endure. Lesson 4. Independence is a precious gift. For most of my life, I never gave much thought to the value of independence. I woke up each day, made my own decisions, moved freely, and did things on my terms. I took it all for granted, thinking that it would always be there. But in the nursing home, I saw a reality that shook me to my core. I met people who had spent their entire lives being strong, capable, and independent, only to find themselves completely reliant on others for even the simplest of tasks. One woman, a retired teacher, once stood in front of a classroom full of students. She had led her students with wisdom and guidance, but now she needed help just to get out of bed. Her voice quivered as she shared how she had to ask for assistance to use the bathroom or get dressed. She said, "I used to guide young minds, and now I can't even guide myself without help." It was a humbling moment. I could feel the sorrow in her words. Another man who had once traveled the world now needed a nurse to feed him. He said to me, "I never thought about what it meant to lift a spoon to my mouth until the day I couldn't do it myself." These stories struck a deep chord within me. I realized how easily we take our independence for granted and how quickly it can be lost. If you can still move freely, make your own choices, and care for yourself, don't take it for granted. Cherish your independence while you still have it, because one day you may wake up to find that it is no longer there, and when that day comes, you will wish you had appreciated it more. Independence isn't just about being able to do things on your own. It's about the freedom and dignity that come with it. It's the ability to make choices, to live your life on your own terms, and to have control over your destiny. I made a promise to myself. As long as I could, I would live fully and independently. I would take care of my body, keep my mind active, and make the most of every moment. Because once you lose your independence, no amount of money or regret can give it back. Lesson 5. True happiness comes from simple things. Throughout my life, I chased happiness in big achievements, career milestones, and the accumulation of things. I thought that once I reached certain goals, once I had more money, a bigger house, or a perfect job, I would finally be happy. But when I entered the nursing home, I met someone who showed me a different kind of happiness. She was 85 years old, with a calm and peaceful demeanor. Despite the many challenges of old age, she had the brightest smile in the room. I asked her one day, "What is your secret to happiness?" She simply replied, "I don't think about what I've lost. I enjoy what I still have." Her words made me stop in my tracks. Most people in the nursing home had lost something significant: their youth, their health, their loved ones. Yet she was at peace, not because her life was perfect, but because she had learned to appreciate the small moments: a good conversation, the warmth of the sun, a cup of tea. That lesson was a turning point for me. I had spent so much time waiting for happiness to come with big accomplishments or possessions. But what I realized, sitting in that quiet room, was that true happiness isn't found in the grand moments. It's found in the simple things, the ones we often overlook. It's in the laughter shared over a cup of coffee, the feeling of a hug from a friend, or the joy of watching the sunrise. True happiness is about embracing the present, appreciating what you have right now, and not waiting for someday to start living fully. If I could go back, I would slow down. I would stop chasing future happiness and start living joyfully in the present. I would savor the small, quiet moments that make life beautiful. Because in the end, happiness wasn't in the things I chased. It was in the little moments I overlooked. Lesson 6. Forgiveness brings peace. In the nursing home, I met many people who carried burdens much heavier than their physical ailments. It wasn't their illnesses or frailty that weighed them down the most. It was their regrets, their grudges, and the unresolved anger they had been holding on to for years. One day, a woman in her late 70s shared a story that I will never forget. She had fallen out with her sister over something trivial, something neither of them could even fully remember. They hadn't spoken in over 20 years. "I always thought we had more time," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. "I thought one day we would fix things, but one day never came. My sister passed away last year, and now I'll never get the chance to say I'm sorry." Her words stayed with me long after our conversation. I realized that holding on to anger doesn't just hurt the person who wronged you, it poisons you. The pain, the bitterness, the regret all weigh down on your heart, making it harder to enjoy the time you have left. I thought about my own life and the grudges I had held on to. I thought about how many times I had let my pride or ego stop me from mending relationships, from saying the words I should have said. But hearing her story made me realize something important. Life is too short to carry that kind of burden. So I made a choice. I decided to forgive, not because the other person deserved it, but because I deserved peace. I let go of the past, the anger, the regrets. And in doing so, I felt lighter, freer. It was like I had been carrying stones in my heart for years and had finally put them down. Forgiveness isn't just about letting go of the past. It's about creating space for peace and happiness in your heart. If there's someone in your life that you need to forgive, don't wait. Do it now, not for them, but for yourself. Because when the final chapter of your life comes, you don't want to look back and regret holding on to pain for so long. Lesson 7. Every day is a gift. Don't waste it. The most profound lesson I learned during my time in the nursing home came not from a conversation, but from a quiet moment of realization. One morning, I woke up to the news that a resident had passed away in his sleep the night before. Just the night before, he had been laughing, sharing stories of his childhood, and reminiscing about a life well lived. And then, just like that, he was gone. That moment was a turning point for me. I had always known that life is fragile, but it wasn't until that moment that I truly understood the depth of that fragility. We often live our lives as if we have all the time in the world, telling ourselves, "One day I'll do this," or "One day I'll say that," without realizing that one day may never come. I thought about all the times I had put things off, trips I wanted to take, conversations I meant to have, moments I intended to cherish but kept pushing aside for later. But now, with the sudden loss of a fellow resident, I saw how easily everything could be taken away. We spend so much time worrying about things that don't matter, about things that may never happen, or things that we can't change. We hold on to regrets, grudges, and fears, and we wait for the perfect moment to start living. But the truth is, the perfect time never comes. Life is happening now. I made a promise to myself that day. I would stop waiting. I would stop telling myself, one day I'll do this. I would start living today. I would tell the people I love how much they mean to me, take the trips I've been putting off, and stop letting life pass me by. Because in the end, what we regret most is not the things we did, but the things we didn't do, the moments we let slip away. Every day is a gift. We are not promised tomorrow, so we must make the most of today. Whether it's a small moment of joy, a conversation with a loved one, or simply taking the time to appreciate life as it is, don't wait. Start now. Live with purpose. Live fully. Lesson 8. Building a life of meaning, not perfection. One of the biggest lessons I learned while living in the nursing home was that no matter how carefully we plan, life doesn't always go the way we expect. I had always thought that if I did everything right, if I worked hard, saved money, and made all the right choices, I could build a perfect life, one that would protect me from hardship in my later years. But what I came to realize is that life isn't about perfection. It's about meaning. Many of the residents I met in the nursing home had lived full lives, but their paths hadn't always been smooth. Some had been successful in their careers, others had faced enormous challenges, and some had even experienced deep regret. Yet, as I listened to their stories, I noticed something they all had in common. They had found meaning in their lives, even if it wasn't the perfect life they had imagined. One woman had spent much of her youth caring for her children and grandchildren, but had never achieved the career success she once dreamed of. She often talked about how much she wished she had done more for herself when she was younger. Yet, when I asked her about her life, she smiled and said, "I've lived a good life because I gave all my love to my family. That's what mattered most." It was clear to me that life doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. It's not about achieving the societal measures of success or having the ideal life. It's about the relationships we build, the love we give, and the moments that make us feel truly alive. When we focus too much on perfection, we miss the richness of life that comes from its imperfections, the laughter with friends, the quiet moments of reflection, and the connections we make with others. It's easy to get caught up in chasing after the perfect life, the perfect career, the perfect home, the perfect family. But those things don't define us. What matters is how we live each day, how we treat others, and whether we find joy in the simple moments. If I could go back, I would have let go of the need for perfection. I would have embraced the imperfections of life and recognized that they were what made my journey uniquely mine. Life isn't about avoiding mistakes or challenges. It's about learning from them, growing stronger, and making meaningful memories along the way. Lesson 9. The importance of emotional resilience. As I spent time in the nursing home, I observed a wide range of emotional reactions to aging and life's challenges. What struck me the most was how some residents faced their circumstances with grace, while others seemed to be overwhelmed by bitterness and fear. The difference wasn't necessarily their physical health or financial status, but their emotional resilience, their ability to adapt and find peace, despite difficult circumstances. One particular resident, a woman in her early 80s, became a role model for me. Despite facing physical decline and the isolation that often accompanies old age, she had an inner strength that was unmistakable. She would wake up every day with a positive outlook, greeting others with a smile and sharing jokes that lifted everyone's spirits. She told me, "The key to surviving this stage of life isn't about fighting the inevitable. It's about accepting it and making peace with what you can't change." Her words were a wake-up call. I had always been someone who believed in fighting for control, trying to maintain independence and solve problems on my own. But I began to realize that emotional resilience isn't about controlling every aspect of your life. Sometimes it's about accepting the things you cannot change and finding ways to adapt. It's about finding strength in vulnerability and peace in letting go. Another resident, a man who had lost his wife many years ago, shared his experience of grief. He explained how, for the first few years after her passing, he struggled with overwhelming sadness. But over time, he began to focus on the small things that brought him joy, tending to his garden, reading books, and spending time with his friends at the nursing home. "It's not easy, but you can find happiness again if you look for it in the right places," he told me. I came to understand that emotional resilience is not about avoiding hardship or pretending everything is fine. It's about learning to cope with loss, disappointment, and change in a healthy way. It's about allowing yourself to grieve when necessary, but also finding the strength to move forward and find joy in the present. If I could go back, I would have worked harder to build my emotional resilience when I was younger. I would have spent less time worrying about the things I couldn't control and more time focusing on the things I could: my mindset, my relationships, and my ability to adapt to life's changes. Emotional resilience is a powerful tool that can help us navigate the challenges of aging and life itself. By cultivating it, we can face any adversity with grace and find peace, even in the most difficult times. As I reflect on the lessons I've learned from my time in the nursing home, I'm reminded of just how precious life is. Aging is not about how many years we have left. It's about how we live those years, the relationships we build, the lessons we embrace, and the moments we cherish. Each of these lessons, from the weight of loneliness to the value of health, the importance of forgiveness, and the gift of resilience, has shaped who I am today. And I believe that no matter where you are in life, these lessons are universal. They remind us that happiness is found in simple moments, that we must cherish every day, and that we have the power to shape our future, no matter our age. So, as you move forward, I encourage you to reflect on these lessons in your own life. Whether you are in your 30s, 50s, or already in your golden years, remember that life is not about the destination. It's about the journey and the choices you make along the way. Live with purpose, love without hesitation, and never take a single day for granted. If you found value in these lessons, I'd love for you to join me on this journey of discovery and growth. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video. By subscribing, you'll get more stories, tips, and reflections that can help guide you through life's challenges and remind you of the simple joys that make it all worth living. Together, let's learn, grow, and live with meaning every single day. Your support means the world to me. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment below. Let me know what lessons you've learned along the way and what you're doing to live a life full of purpose. And don't forget to share this video with others who may benefit from these lessons. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you in the comments and in future videos. Let's make every moment count.